Hi, in today's video, I'll be showing you how to do meal attendance in Admire. This can be done by week or by month. Let's take a look. In Admire, go to School, Meals, and Meal Attendance. This will open up the meal attendance window. At the top, you can see meal attendance lookup by week, or you can choose from the drop-down menu and choose meal attendance lookup by month, which I'm going to choose. I'm also going to choose the hammer icon so that this becomes my default setting. Now, I have the option to choose with a filter. I can choose over here, click filter, and that will enable me to search by any of the filters that I currently have, by class, by term, current registration, etc. In the case that I just want to search all my students, I can uncheck this. I'm going to actually keep it checked on and choose current registration. Now, I'm going to choose the drop-down menu of which week I want to do it. I'm going to do the week. I'll do the previous week. So I'm going to choose the week of the 30th. I'm going to choose the term, which is the current term selected, but I can choose any of the terms that are in my school. I'm going to choose which meal I want to check attendance for. So in this case, it will be lunch. And I have the option to choose by grade, but in this case, I'm going to leave it empty and I'm going to click search. This will load up all attendance records here in the Admire for that month. And as over here, we can see the student name, the current eligibility, whether it's free or paid for or reduced. We can see whether or not the meal is declined. And we can see based on the day, every day has the attendance. Now, there are different types of attendance marks. So I can choose over here to add by Avram Animer. I can choose over here to click check, which means that he received his meal. I can choose again X, which means that even though he was eligible to receive a meal and he was there, he did not take the meal. Or I can choose A for absent, that he didn't show up for the meal. Clicking again will reset, and then let's say I make the wrong mark, I go to just put the right mark in as well. So I'm going to leave it checked for yes, he ate the meal. Over here, you see a red border around this box. This means that another attendance record was taken for the student today, and we could right click on it and choose view attendance to see what exactly that was. We can see over here that he was absent by Bikis, which would explain why he has no mark over here. And we can see if it was excused. We can scroll over to see what are the reasons, if there was one. And that will tell us, give us a little bit of a clue what's going on here. In this case, I'm going to choose, since he was absent, I'm just going to click and choose absent as well and mark it so it matches up. Over here at the end, you can see which class they're in. So these are all 9A, these are all students from 10A, 11A, etc. On the bottom, you see a grid here, which gives you the overall metrics of the attendance. Now, if you don't see it, it's because the show summary box is unchecked. If you click again, you will see the summary box here as well. Now, what happens if I want to do an entire day of I want to mark everybody a single way? So I can always over here, let's say for example, I want to mark this Sunday. So what I can do is I have over here a bulk option, bulk update options. I can choose for the single day. So I'm going to click over here on Sunday. And as you can see, the date matches up. It's 4/9/2023, which is April 9th. And it either that they were all served, and that will input all of them in except for those that are declined the meal. In this case, since Chaim Elia Adler has been marked as declined, it will show up over here as declined as well. Although I'm going to put that back in, it will be automatically. Now, what happens over here? Let's say, for example, there was no meal on this date here, so I can do that as well. I can choose here, and instead of clicking served, I can do not served. Or I can choose absent, and then they will all be marked as absent. And you can see I can clear it as well, so it can go back to the way it was. Now, what happens if I want to do an entire, or I want to do, instead of doing a single day, I want to do all days. I can choose which days of that week to put all the right marks in. Now, doing this will override any other marks. So if I hit over here, served, you'll see that on all those days, you will see, with the exception of Fridays and Shabbos, be marked. And I could also choose to clear it as well. And I also have the option to do multiple. And I can choose over here which days here. Let's say, for example, I don't want to choose, during Yom Tov, I could choose that. I could take that out. It would be over here. I could select or deselect all and hit OK. When everything I want is properly selected. Over here at the bottom, we have an option to print the grid, which means whatever's currently being seen here will be printed. If I want to actually print this, the entire report, I can click over here and that will print out the report. And when I'm finished and I want to apply, I can hit OK or apply, and that will make all the markings properly entered into Admire. Now, there are a few preferences that we may need to set up beforehand, such as the opportunity and the ability to see absent marks. By default, it may actually only be either a check or an X, which means that the X would be for both those that decline the meal or are absent from the meal. And it really depends on how your school sets things up, but if you wanted to showcase the school having absent mark here and you do not see it, what you need to do is you need to go to Tools, User Options, and Preferences. This will open up the Preferences window. Then you go to School, hit the plus mark to open up the options, go to Meal Attendance, then go to Systems Preferences. And over here you see options of absent status. It's currently checked as true, which means that that ability will be there. But if I turn it to no, and then I hit save, what will happen is if I go back to the screen here, well, if I try to change it from check to X, the X will be there, but there will be no option for absent. I'm going to go back and switch that back again by going to Tools, User Options, Preferences. Again, go to School, Meal Attendance, Systems Preferences, and Option for Absent Status, and switch that back to yes, save, and now that's all set and good. Now, another thing I may want to change is under User Preferences would be to show the default term, right? As you can see over here when we were looking up the term, if I want to set a different term as the default that I don't have to manually put it in every time, what I can do is I can go over here, again, School, Meal Attendance, and under User Preferences this time, so I go to Default Term, choose the right term from the drop-down menu. I'm going to leave it at the one I want, and then hit Save, and that will enable that term to always be loaded when I open the Meal Attendance. Thank you for watching. We here at Admire Academy are constantly creating new content for you so that you can enjoy your use of the software to the best of your ability. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.